brothers and sisters. For the longest time, I've been hearing through the grapevine about this resistance leader named Horton.
Things don't go terribly smoothly as the Resistance tries to make its way over to the good old US of A at the start of Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus. But as I saw when I first played this game a couple of months ago, BJ Terrorbilly Blazkowicz is back and he means business. We've had another opportunity to dive deeper into the game now, with a mission that takes you to New Orleans as this resistance group tries to spark a second American Revolution and throw out the occupying forces. Now making use of a Dart Yichud power suit to get him up running and gunning after the finale to the first game, BJ has a route to gaining new abilities to use in combat and to get around the world. Of course, it's a power suit, and while BJ probably didn't ask for this, it does allow him to smash through certain almost broken walls and into new areas, though that is not always advisable if you think that there's enemy on the other side. More curious is being able to raise up on extendable legs so that BJ is suddenly up on stilts. That's potentially quite useful in combat, letting you pop up through a hole in the floor, for example, shoot some bad guys, and then drop back down a second or two later. Or it lets you reach a higher ledge so that you've got a different entrance into a building, stuff like that. This kind of hit and run tactic is deeply embedded in how you have to play Wolfenstein games now. You want to try and pick your fights, and simply barreling through a wall and into a gunfight is not usually a good way to go about things, even if you can dual wield and now mix and match your weapons. You're much better off sneaking around a bit, finding the officers that could call in reinforcements, and then trying to kill them before or as soon as the action starts to kick off in earnest. Dual wielding is a lot of fun with some of these weapons, especially as you can now mix and match guns. Of course, you lose the ability to aim down sights with the Sturmgewehr, but then again, you can have two contrasting weapons, one that's good for short range and one that's good for long range enemies. By far my favourite is the Laserkraftwerk that lets you turn enemies into a shower of sparks, while adding a built-in silencer to the Maschinenpistole is a great idea, and turning it into a nail gun is wonderfully gruesome in its own particular way. There's not a huge number of options as you upgrade each weapon, and there's not actually a terribly huge number of guns in the first place, but there are some great combos, and as I said, dual wielding is just a lot of fun. If I had one complaint of this particular mission, it would be that New Orleans simply feels a little bit bland. It fits thematically with this now being a walled-off slum or ghetto that the Nazis are trying to wipe off the face of the earth, and so there's squalor and depression in this particular situation that are clear to see. But there's little of the city's trademark vibrancy or culture that manages to survive and seep through all of this action. It's really the characters that you eventually meet that give you a semblance of that, even if it's only a thin veneer. In fact, I think it's going to be the characters and the story that really make this game, as good as the combat is. Machine games have really embraced the kind of excess and over-the-top characterization for the cast that they've created. They're all a little bit quirky, with BJ almost being swept up in this whirlwind of craziness. You really get to see this in the game's cutscenes, which I'm led to believe will be long and plentiful between missions. They look fantastic, and they're full of bizarre and humorous moments, both big and small, such as finding that the small submarine that the Resistance are going to be using to infiltrate New Orleans was, well, otherwise occupied. Or alternatively, you have the rather grisly use of a detachable robotic hand. Of course, there's still going to be a good few points where you get to kick back and just have fun in the combat as well, where the game turns to a show-stopping spectacle instead of worrying about where the next health pack is or if you need to hunt down an officer. Encountering a Panzerhund in an area is a frightful prospect, as the upgraded models of these fearsome robotic beasts now feature a flamethrower in their mouths, and you have to deal an awful lot of damage to take them down. So there's a kind of freedom and liberation to getting to hop onto the back of a hacked Panzerhund, and this lets you rampage through the streets, setting fire to any and every enemy soldier you come across. Honestly, the more time I spend with Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, the more I like it. New Orleans, for me at least, wasn't the most exciting of locations for the game to have visited, but the way that the combat blends stealth and tension with great gunplay and action is still fantastic. It's intertwined with a story and a cast of unusual characters that look to go even further than the first game and make for a real showcase of what the cinematics team at Machine Games can do. If the E3 announcement and our first hands-on didn't already tell you enough, well, just rest assured that this is one to watch out for when it releases at the end of next month. Thanks as ever for watching. Please do like, sub and share this video with others, and you can always go and catch our first Wolfenstein II The New Colossus preview if you want to see more of this game. Head over to the 6th Axis for our written previews, reviews, news and other gaming content, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!
Lord, I ain't never seen a man remain coherent after more than one shot of old Holden special. I like you, Billy. Like your gumption. All right, let's start this revolution.